Welcome to Array Tarot. This is going to be our first pick a card. I'm going to give you three options, and all I want you to do is to just channel in for a moment. Take a deep breath in and just trust whatever one pops up. And we're going to get that reading going for you. So let's just provide any clarity, any message of grounding, or any understanding that will come up, whether it is love, business, wealth, health, whatever it is, just for you to live your best life. I'm so excited to get started. So here are your options. You have black kyanite, you have black obsidian, and you have smoky quartz. I already feel like there's a lot of grounding going on, as well as a lot of psychic ability and mystical ability. So let's go ahead and get started. So just take a moment, whichever one. We're going to get started with this reading. If you chose the black kyanite, this is your reading. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. It is always so important to channel our ancestors, channel our energetic helpers. That one came out, and just show gratitude for the universe and to stand with a place of strength, clarity, and intuition. So let's go ahead and get started. So the first card that's coming out would be the Sun. And so with this Sun card, it's saying that you are trying to or want to shine bright. It's saying that there's this big message for you to come across and for your energy really to be blossoming. The next card, just in this moment, would be the Rider. So there's something that you've been working on, something really, really big, something really large that you're trying to bring together, and you feel like this is kind of, the word that came up is your sojourn, which is kind of like your journey. This is an important thing. You're trying to do something, you're trying to manifest. And Fish, which is sacred as well as the opportunity. So there's some energy coming across right here that is sending out a message of higher growth, higher vibrational experience. In Lily, there's this sense of grace, purity, just a very sincere place from the heart that you feel this to your very core. I'm going to jump in here and just keep it going and see what else is coming up for you in this reading. Okay, thank you, universe. So we got two things coming up. We got the light white owl and Palomino. So the light is a card that represents light work. So this gesture of it being connected so closely to the Rider is simply saying that this is something you're trying to manifest into your life. This is something that you are trying to pull its gravitational pull and force towards you. So also we have the white owl and the Sun. So there's this certain amount of wisdom that comes with you. You're a very wise person. Someone even say that you are an old soul. And that is this energy that's definitely coming across right here with this white owl, because the Sun represents you. The Sun rules Leo. The Leo really is about the self, not necessarily like Aries, which is about the physical body and people's first impressions, but more about you. And so you are a very wise person. You are a very connected person. And then we have the Palomino. So there's this sense of freedom. So we have this joint gesture of a horse. So there's something about the horse being a spirit animal, a sacred animal, or this energetic connection to our spirit animals that are saying there is a sense of freedom being the fish, freedom being the Rider, freedom being the fish, meaning more of a emotional boundarylessness, spiritual freedom. So something about this light work that you're doing is in seeking spiritual freedom. And with an old soul, it's giving me something like a past life karmic thing that you are trying to resolve, or something that you've been working at for several lifetimes. In Luna Moth. So here it is. The way you transform is a secret one. And what I mean by that is with the Luna Moth, think about it like this. You see the caterpillar into the butterfly, right? And this caterpillar is already vibrant and beautiful and very interesting and unique looking, and then it transforms into this beautiful butterfly. But then you think about the moth, which is also a very kind of boring looking kind of worm caterpillar looking thing that transforms into this amazing thing. But a moth tends to have, like, gray colors. It's better to blend in, whereas the butterfly is trying to scare things away by making it look big and colorful. The moth is trying to blend in. So it's sending a message that you have this sense of you that you transform in private, in hiding. Your transformation has come through a very quiet, a very consistent, a very gentle transformation. And with you choosing black kyanite, it's giving me both a sense of grounding and a sense of kind of this mystical, energetic, spiritual kind of aspects to you, because we definitely have that fish that came up. Let's see what the planets are saying for you, okay? So, okay. Got it. Let's see, let's keep this going. Boom, boom, boom. Boom, cat. One more. Thank you, universe. Thank you, universe. Okay. What you got? What you got? What you got? Here we go. Last quarter moon. Okay, so the last quarter moon, transition, letting go, forgiveness, and adaptation. There is something that you have been letting go in your life. There's something that you've reached the end of, and you can no longer entertain those things in your life. So 2020 and previously has been a time to really show and reflect to you the things that maybe were not for your highest vibrational good. And this new year and this new energies is all an opportunity for you to let it go. And the universe is asking you to let it go because you have this strong sense of freedom that is calling for you. And it is calling and calling and calling you and calling and calling and calling you and calling you some more. And then we have the ninth house energy, which is also, it represents Jupiter and it represents Sagittarius. So that can be travel, but a lot of times that can be philosophy and mental pursuits. So there's something about that right there that is really calling out to you. There's something about who you are now, who you weren't that person before, drastically, whether it's something that you changed in how you understand religion, faith, the universe, or just a deep shift. Just your ideologies are no longer the same as when you were coming up. And then we have this waxing crescent, which is inspiration, creativity, growth, accomplishments, and learning. This is a huge growth phase for you right now. And because you have such a huge growth phase, it is so important for you to really own that and to sit with that. And the last card you have is Mercury. It's all about communication, and it's also very important because you might have a strong Gemini or Virgo presence that's going on there. And that could mean, or that can be interpreted as, communication is key. Make sure that you are describing what you need to be describing to people. Make sure you are coming off clearly of who you are. Don't ever feel like you have to overspeak yourself. Don't ever feel like you have to explain things to small-minded people. Just put it out there and really big up the people who are around you. So let's keep this energy going. Universe, is there any other, move that to the side. Universe, is there any other information that we need to know in order to better understand what they need to hear from their spirit guides, energetic helpers, or anything like that? Anything that is important. Okay, we have the elephant. Oh, I love elephants. I really do. I really love elephants. Elephants are all about wisdom. It's all about patience. It's all about persistence. And it's all also about a mental agility. So when you have that Mercury energy coming up, that is about two sides of the mental agility. The Virgo side, which is deep analytical overthinking of the data in front of you. And the Gemini side, which is the deep overthinking of connecting 2 points that you wouldn't typically think would come together. So that's what's coming up here. You're doing a lot of strategic thinking right now. There's a lot of strategic thinking going on right now for you. Let's see. Ooh. And then we have the horn. Yes, baby, this is a calling. Okay, this right here is a calling. Something is calling you. Something is calling you. And there was a reason why you had to let things go so that you can receive this and actually have the space to be able to do it. So asking the universe, what is this calling that they are being asked to do? It's easy, it's simple. You already know what it is. Before I even say it, you already know what it is. Ooh, Death Mother. Okay. There is a sense of compassion through learning how to set boundaries and learning when to let things go. Showing people how to get to the other side, especially during times of turmoil, can be a huge blessing. When you think of a mother who doesn't have strong boundaries with their children, you might think of someone who spoils the kids, or someone who is not giving the person the realistic boundaries they need to flourish in life. Because the only really way to be successful in life is to have discipline. Because there's going to be times when you're talented, there's going to be times when you're not talented. But it's that discipline that keeps you together. The Death Mother gives you those hard lessons, but they're lessons from karmic patterns from way, way before. So this is essentially saying, cut some of this toxic energy out. And that's the calling. There are people in your life, there are situations, there are circumstances, and there are mentalities that you still have within you that you need to cut out. And the calling is to free that. So you're being asked to do shadow work. Shadow work can happen through actual spell work. It can happen through therapy. It can happen through journaling. It can happen through kind of going on this journey and this internal adventure. It can happen in a lot of ways. Let's actually talk to the planets and see how they kind of picture it for you. Universe, can you tell us a little bit more about this Death Mother, what they need to be doing? How can they be navigating this? Basically, what the fuck do they need to do? Deadass, what do they need to do? Okay, thank you, appreciative. The third house, which is Gemini, which happens to be communication. There's an issue with communication here, and it's not saying that these cards were not in reverse. They're not indicating that you can't communicate. There's this fear of wanting to protect the toxic. And so when we do that, when we have toxic loyalties with people, we might not speak our truth, even though we already know our truth. You already know who you are. You already know what you need to do. You already know everything that you want in your life. You already know what is important to you. Ooh, that's been tough. That's been tough. I just got that from right now. That's been tough for you. It's been really, really tough for you to acknowledge your strength. It's been very tough for you to admit that you know exactly what you want. It's been very tough for you to assert yourself and say, this is what I want, and I'm going to go get it, okay? And so that's what's going on, because you're kind of playing, you're giving Libra energy, but not for the highest quality of Libra, which is aesthetic beauty and critiquing things until they are the most beautiful representation of what can be seen, but more of this fear of rocking the boat. And that is not going to serve you well. We have Taurus, which is the sibling to Libra. Remember, Taurus and Libra are both ruled by Venus. And what that means is that Libra is more about the aesthetic beauty, aesthetic senses of comfort, the beautiful things in life. Taurus is more about the tactile and sensual, the comforting things that feel good, those physical feelings. So that can be a good meal, that can be a relaxing moment. And the Libra does not like when things are not beautiful, aesthetically pleasing, just like the Taurus does not like when things are uncomfortable. And so there's this huge sense of feeling uncomfortable sharing your truth in this space. I don't know who it is or why it is, or maybe it's just you never learned. I tell you, I see beautiful, talented people all the time who are too afraid to really accept themselves and just to be amazing. Much more talented than some people that I see out there, but they're just too small because, either they learned that growing up or they just never, took responsibility of their life and said, I'm going to move past this. And maybe that means I got to let some people go. Let me tell you, one of the most toughest and healing things you can ever do is learn how to let the right people go, because I guarantee better people will show up in your life, especially when it comes to love and relationships. So, 7th house, Libra. The only thing that is holding you back here is this feeling of you don't like to make other people uncomfortable. And that's basically what's going on here. But this is saying that this is a karmic point, synastry, fated connections, and turning point. There is something about these connections that you're having, whether it is in relationships, whether it has to do with family, whether it has to do with work, that is very karmic. You know how to navigate this. I call it the devil, because you know how bad it can be. And sometimes people don't want to leave that moment because they're like, ooh, what if it's out here and I try something new, hoping it'll be better, and it's just even more scary. But this is saying this is fated, this is karmic, and this is something that if you take no action, this will be your natural thing. So what you need to do is you really have to push yourself forward. Solar eclipse, and you need to start something new. So this is embracing change, revelation, courage, determination, and connection. Not everything that is fated is meant to be. Faded, not like a faded picture, but fated, like this is fate. Not everything that is fated is meant to be. For example, if someone grows up and they don't have a lot of money and they don't see people around them having access to money, then it might be very difficult for them if they just are trying to follow what everybody else around them who is lacking money does. But if you come from maybe people with money, it might be more easier for you to just follow along with that flow. I'm not saying that money is one is better, one is worse. I'm not saying that at all. I'm saying that the person who doesn't come from money but makes the determination to say, I'm going to be wealthy and I'm going to learn principles. I'm going to learn principles of saving. I'm going to learn principles of earning money, of investing, things like that. They then change the trajectory. So their fated thing might be to be in this one, a financial class, but they change the trajectory by that solar eclipse energy. So that's what you're being given the opportunity to do. Let me ask your ancestors for a second if there's any messages that they want to share with you. Thank you, ancestors. We receive all messages. We are so grateful. We love you, love you, love you. Ooh, yes, 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 yes. The moon. That's the message. The moon, night, secrets, like the hidden talents, pretty much. They're basically saying you have a hidden talent that you're too afraid to show other people, or you're too afraid to go after. We have ship and we have rings. So again, there is this movement that you need to be moving somewhere, but moving in a fruitful way, moving in the transition, going into a new space, and ring, which is a commitment, discipline, dedication, persistence, patience. That's what's coming up for you. So let me know in the comment section what specifically it is. This is a collective reading. So this is something that we are sharing our energy together with, but you tell me specifically what's going up. Cannot wait to see or hear more about you. If you chose the Black Obsidian, this is your reading. So already I'm getting a sense that you are making this way too hard on yourself. Like literally, like there is access that you have that you're preventing yourself from having. Like you always are trying to take the long way or trying to take the hard way because you're trying to prove to others, but more importantly, you're trying to prove to yourself you're worthy of the blessings that are coming across. And so you're always kind of trying to force yourself to prove something that if anyone ever doubted you, that you could be like, aha, I have this thing right here that no one can question, no one can doubt. But you don't have to. The universe wants to work with you. And I think that that's a hard concept that you've been struggling with for a while. So light. There's some light work that's happening here. In the architect, there's some building. So I think what's happening is that you have such a strong connection to your ability to build the life that you want, to have exactly what you want, that I think it gets a little restless. And when things come a little bit too easy to you, you make it a little bit harder than what it needs to be, when honestly, there's so much more going. So these two cards seem to be a common theme that's coming up in the collective, in the energy. And it's this sense of needing to manifest and this sense of freedom. And for you, you are the master builder. So you're going to be building something. So this is giving me either relationships, family, or business. That depends on you. Okay, let me go the other way. Let me go the other way. Thank you. Anything else, universe? Tiger. That Tiger King was jumping out right there. Courage, cunning. There's this introverted, extroverted, introvert kind of like thing going on here, where you're balancing a lot of stuff. You're on a spectrum, but you're highly intelligent and you're highly crafty. Let me talk to your ancestors real quick. Obsidian, to see what's going on there. Ancestors, appreciate you, connecting with you, love you. Please send messages over that are concise, to the point, in a way that they will understand and they will acknowledge, and they will feel directly connected with anything that comes up for their highest vibrational good only. So we have the Tower. So we have this interesting thing of the Architect, the Tower, cunning. Let's see, we have the Crossroads, and we have the Fish. Okay. So what's happening here is there's this huge opportunity that is in front of you, and you're very strategic minded. You're really great at building things, but you feel like if you take this opportunity, everything else might fall down. So for your freedom, you are here at a crossroads, and that's like really making you think. So let's actually ask the planets for some clarity. Can we have a little bit more clarity about what they are going through, or what honestly they should do? Thank you. I appreciate you. Inner wisdom. So always seek your inner wisdom. And here's the thing, we started off with this conversation of don't make things harder than they need to be. And the inner wisdom is understanding that the soul has been incarnated many times, and there's certain things for you that's going to be super easy for you to do, and some things that you're going to work a little bit harder. And I think sometimes when people make it harder for themselves, is because they're trying to control the level of difficulty of things. So maybe you're really good at gardening, so you make it harder on yourself to do that, when really what you need to learn how to do is build a barn or something like that. But instead of confronting that real thing that you really need to do, you just want to do the things that you can control over here, when in reality, use the inner wisdom. If you're gifted in something, life is hard enough. Allow it to be easier on yourself. Conjunction. This is unity, autonomy, individuality, inner self, self-motivation. Concentration, personal interest. So you really have to make a decision on whatever this thing that you're being called to do you really want to do it? In Cancer. Okay. That kind of changed the game for me. This is giving me more of kind of a family kind of thing. It could be a working family, but with the light, which is manifesting creation, the Fish, which is also a representation of the baby, and the Cancer. Are you trying to figure out if you should have a family? Are you trying to figure out if you want to take that step and have a partnership and grow your family and build your family? Because you really value your individuality. You really value your ability to be able to do whatever you want to do whenever you want to do it. The freedom that, of course, comes with that. But there's something else happening here. So let's go ahead and keep reading into that. So there's more. There's more. I was thinking like maybe it was like business related, but when I saw that Cancer light and the Fish, I was like, come on, look. having kids is not for everybody. Having a family is not for everybody, but everybody wants to be a family member, whether you just, want your chosen family, want friends, and I think you're trying to discover the position you want to be. And the second house is everything that you have. So there's this feeling of not having enough. And that is really what's driving you right now and kind of making it a little difficult to build this. But let me understand, is this really what they want? Are they meant to have a family? Because, we could just get straight into the point. We have last quarter moon, transition, letting go, forgiveness, adaptation. It's basically saying that there's something that's holding you back from being able to walk forward in confidence. If it has to do with family, I would definitely say analyze your family, specifically the relationship of your mother, your parents, but mostly your mother, because there might be a reason why there might need to be a position of forgiveness that you do, of some adaptation, of letting go, of transitioning, and of moving on for things. And until you do that, this stuff is going to be difficult, whether it is you really, really want to have a family and you just feel like, why isn't this working out? Why isn't this working out? Either it's fertility or not the right partner. It just feels like it's never the right time, or just, this feeling inside. Or if it's more like maybe you don't have your family support, maybe, you need your mother to come and help you with this, or there is some difficult relationships, because this could also be channeling a session of your ancestors, explaining a family member and what they were going through as well. And this is a retrograde kind of energy. So this is a deep reflection that's going on. So this is an indication that what's going on here is more likely internal than it is external, meaning probably not fertility, probably not even at the point where you're like, should I have family? Should I not? More of like, this is an underlying current that might have been remaining unconscious within you, and that the universe is asking you to kind of use your inner wisdom and to explore. Okay. We have the Luna Moth, which is this kind of transformation, incubation. It's asking you to change. It's asking you to change the way that you view less of an individual, even though those are things you are good at, even though individuality is important, and more of understanding. So what I'm getting here is you have a choice. And the choice you're being presented with is, do you go have this family, traditional life, this life of kind of giving yourself of service to something, being a mother, being a metaphysical mother, or do you have this life of freedom? And this freedom is simply saying, like, you are at a crossroads here. Let's ask the ancestors. They will tell you what to do. The energetic helpers will be like, you can't get it wrong. This is very karmic. This is very the universe asking you to clean up other people's stuff. Clouds. So I'm getting this head in the clouds kind of thing. So you're like, and try not to think about it. Altar, which is, it's an important decision that needs to be made. Rider. It's something that you're being asked and that you're being called to do. What are they being called to do? Can you give us some clarity? One card clarity, universe. What are they being called to do? The silence. I think you feel like you're being shut out from the decision. I think you are feeling like a decision is being made that involves you, and you don't necessarily have the say that you want to have with it. Let me see. You're too afraid to say. Because I asked, what do they need to do? What is the decision that they need to make? One card. And here it is, we have this, you're too afraid to say it. So in that moment when I asked the question, something came up for you. What was that thing that came up? that's what you're too afraid to say it. Why are you afraid? So I'm going to ask why are you afraid, and then I'm going to ask what you should do. But why are they afraid? Because this is really a processing session. Something about your mom. The moon keeps on coming up in feelings and things like that. We have Taurus. And I think we had second house. Did we not have second house? You're afraid. You're afraid to say. Does it make you feel insecure? Let me see. We have lunar eclipse, releasing the past, breakthrough, pushing through. There is some type of trauma that happened that has to do with your childhood, and you're too afraid to say it. And that is really, you feel like you can't really even have the freedom that you want with your own voice. So how can you help someone else go through this experience? We have full moon, which is celebrating the harvest. So there's going to be a little bit of shadow work you have to do to kind of get to the bottom of what's going on here. Now, if it is not an actual, like I'm about to birth a baby, it could also be, seen as a position of leadership, a leadership role in which you have to nurture something in this strange fear of not wanting to do it. Waxing crescents, inspiration, creativity, and growth. One more clarity here. One more clarity. Waxing gibbous, alignment, refinement, nurture, patience, evolution. Your reading is going through a lot right now. And a lot of the energy that's coming across is like, you're being pulled in multiple directions, and what you thought was the problem seems to be connected to another problem, which seems to be connected into something different. Basically, what I'm seeing here is that if you clear the throat, everything else will fall in line. So what you're afraid, there's something you're afraid to say. And whatever that is, you need to get through clarity with that. Especially with you choosing the black obsidian, that is a stone of protection. That is a stone of grounding. That is a stone of physical protection. So with that, I would say this might require a little bit of therapy. It might require a little bit of being more compassionate or understanding, or a movement of strength within. But there's a lot of this going on. Ancestors, can we have a little bit more guidance for what they should do and how they should go about this? Okay. So basically they're saying there are these moments for you in your life where things are harder than they need to be. And your ancestors, the universe, all of these energies are trying to give you kind of easy passes sometimes. So when you get those easy passes, take them. Not like the easy pass on the road, but like when you get them, take them. The universe recognizes that you have made it through so much, and they want to just shower you with things. So if you see an opportunity that feels a little scary, don't be too afraid to just jump into it and make it work and figure it out. You're going to be okay. You're protected. The tree. You have to set, basically there's something here that your viewing can be seen two ways. It can be something scary, or it can be something that represents growth and foundation. This is the Black Gold Lenormand deck, and I'm going to take a moment to explain to you what this is. This was created by a person of color, a woman of color. This is called Grandma's Baby, and this is very much so a U.S. African American, a Lenormand deck, but having different actual pictures. And why I'm bringing this up for you, and how the beginning of the reading came out, which was making things harder than they need to be. This tree can be interpreted in two ways based off of, the energy of what I'm perceiving this deck is giving. During the rural South, lynchings and being killed and being hung up by a tree was something that was prevalent in the US. When we look at this picture, one could literally fear trees, but also the tree is strength. The fruit-bearing tree will feed you for the rest of your life. So here it is, you're being given an opportunity. There is something in your life that you're afraid of, that you need to switch it and see how it bears fruit for you. I'm gonna say it one more time. There's something in your life you are afraid of that you need to switch it and allow it to bear fruit for you. That way, you utilize the undercurrent of energy around you for your highest vibrational good. And all of this stuff that's going on will subside and begin to heal itself. But it all starts with this inner healing and inner strength within yourself. I believe you can do it. I know you're strong enough to do it, and just do that light work. So, as I say, this is a collective reading. So this is a reading that we are getting, or we are connecting in as a whole. What that also means is you are still a unique individual person, and you will have your own unique specific details. So tell me in the comment section how it's going. What's coming up for you? What are these themes coming up? You never know how you sharing your journey and your story can heal another person and help them in theirs. So I hope you enjoyed it and cannot wait until the next video. So if you chose this stone, you chose the smoky quartz. Very magical, very mystical, very energetic, and very interesting. So let's go ahead and see what the universe has going on for you. So, okay, first and foremost, well, waning gibbous, and then we have some Sagittarius energy, very much so up in the clouds, but flirty and fun and having a good time. We have this 5th house energy, which is you have a lot of creativity happening, a lot of gratitude and nurture and acts of service. So you're releasing a lot. This is a very creative time for you. This is a very magical time, and you feel like you want to be more creative than you usually are, or if you are a naturally creative person, you just really feel this flow of energy, just like boom, 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 boom at you, like, ooh, this is so great. This is so wonderful and so fantastic. And that's because you're so deeply connected to your third eye right now, and so deeply connected to these strong energetic connections. Aries the self, so you really are the type of person that walks around and embodies who they are. You know, if something is interesting to you, if something is artsy fartsy, like you really put that on your back and you're just like, hey, look, I'm here, you know, I'm doing the damn thing. So very much so a very creative period for you right now. Ooh, let's see, what else is going on? A lot of just create South Node. This is a South Node gift. Gifts and lessons. This is a South Node gift. This is a gift that you've perfected in previous lifetimes, so it's very easy for you to do. You might also enjoy travel. You might also enjoy philosophy or deep thinking, or thinking outside of the box and just flowing with the universe and the energy. And also we have this very much so 7th house Libra energy, where, you know, this is really a time where you enjoy being around people and you're getting a lot out of your partnerships with people. We have a stellium and we have a waning crescent. So the stellium is saying that there's something that's happening right now, especially in your chart, probably in fire signs, in which there is this concentration of energy that really is showing that like you are amazing at something. And so that's what the universe, or perhaps planetary positioning right now, is going through. That is simply saying like, you are freaking spectacular and you need to know it. Okay, let's see. One more. Lunar eclipse, which is releasing the past. So we had some interesting moon movement. So let's see what these moon movements were. We have the waning crescents, which is surrender, restore, reflection, and intuition and stillness. We have waning, which is releasing, gratitude. So there's a lot of releasing. And so this is sending the message to me that typically I would say something like South Node is like you need to release it and step into North Node. But I think it's more of like you need to release the fact that you have this connection and there is no shame, because in order for you to get to your North Node, which is the new gifts you learn, which are the new things that come into being, you have to balance the South Node. You have to feed the South Node. You have to have pride in where you come from to have pride in where you're going, or you're always going to be feeling like you're running away from something. So this is simply saying you have to let go of any ego, or let go of any trauma from the past, any just things that didn't work out the way you wanted it to work out, and just let it be, and let it have peace and understanding there. Okay, universe, connecting with you for the highest vibrational source, spirit guides, spirit masters, ancestors, and all for the highest vibrational good only. We have the octopus, adaptability. We have the seek, which is also changing adaptability, a keen eye, being swift. And we have memory. So I'm going to actually go with memory for a little bit, because I was just talking about there's something in your karmic past that continues to flow with you. It's probably what you do to activate your creative ability. It's probably what makes you so special. And so what you really need to do here is you really need to connect in with this energy. You really need to be able to release anything that is no longer serving you, that you no longer seek, to have around you. And then also, let me jump here. This adaptability, you got to think about the octopus. What can the octopus do? The octopus, when you see it in water, is so big, right? But like an octopus can fit through anything that its beak can fit through. So here it is, this big thing can really transition itself throughout life. And so this is sending like the message that you're going through a transition, some type of transitional period. And it's kind of giving you a bit of nostalgia. You might have recently gone home, or you might have recently been around a group of people that are very nostalgic for you. And it's giving you an opportunity to remind you of the things you were good at, but also show the amount of change that you've been through. And this could also be nostalgically talking to people as well. So just asking the ancestor what's going on. There's this mission right now for you that is very important for you to share your story. And because of that, there's this sense of reflection. I'm getting kind of like writing a book, novel, talking about your secrets, talking about your hidden talents. These are the things that are coming up. And also talking about your pain. This is really a freeing time. Your art is really focused on, and however you choose to be an artist, but your art is really focused on these things, your passion, the things you're good at, but the secrets as well as the pain. You see all these things as fuel and creativity to bring you forward. So let's continue working on this. So let's go ahead and ask the ancestors what's going on here, because it's very nostalgic, and I think ancestors do a really good job of communicating like what is specifically going on. So what's going on with them with smoky quartz? It's almost very like multi-dimensional kind of things. Okay. At a crossroads. What you at a crossroads for? What are you at a crossroads for? At a crossroads for what? At a crossroads of passage. To where? To where? To something that you feel like will be better for you. So this transition to me is one of like moving on, meaning like you graduate from high school and you go to college, or you graduate from middle school and go to high school, or whatever it is. You leave one space for your life to go to something that is better. It's better. But there's also this reflection of, wow, it was really cool when I played on the playground, or it was really cool for like someone to decide all of these things for me, and I wanted to be free, and now here it is, I'm free. And it's just nostalgic. Oh, how simple life used to be. I think about it all the time. Shit, life was so much simpler. I used to want to be grown so bad. I don't know why. Life was simple, But it's really like just wanting to be in control of your own destiny, wanting to make your own kind of decisions in your own path. And so then we have night and we have silence. Okay. Something about something you didn't want to share, something that you had gone through, something that you had to silence yourself for. And that is a part of it too. That is a part of where you get this pain and this transition. Because think about it, sometimes when people are feeling anxious or depressed or something like that, A lot of times it's the nighttime when they are alone by themselves and they finally have the opportunity to reflect, that sometimes things can hit a little bit hard. It can be much more traumatic. It can be much lighter than that, but it's just a moment to say, release and surrender. You do not have to be perfect all the time. Everything doesn't have to be together. And, sometimes when we look through life, we can be tempted to look through rose-colored glasses, meaning like, oh, everything was, so great. Or, sometimes we can be very pessimistic. Everything was so bad, when I think life is really a balance. Most of the time, I really feel like life is much better than it is worse, but I think it's the worst hurts more, and that's what makes it so tough. And then we have the rabbit and the fox. So there's been this little cat and mouse thing that you've been doing. You've been chasing around the idea of transitioning into this next stage in your life. You've been chasing it around. You've been kind of rowing around as a cute little, thing. You've been called before to do it. You kind of hid back. You flirted with it a little bit. You tried to see if you could be in two places at one time. And that's really the energy that continues to come up there. So let me see one more. We have white buffalo, which is a huge amount of abundance. And abundance is what continues to come up here. So you are stepping into, this is the message I'm getting to, you are stepping into a highly lucrative, a highly valuable stage in your life. And this is just those nostalgic moments in which you get to sit and you get to reflect on what exactly that means and what it means for you and where you're going. Let's connect a little bit more with the planets. Thank you, universe. Appreciate you. Appreciate you. Okay. 11th house, which is an Aquarius, which is that individual, the revolutionary, shock and awe. How you treat those, that collective community, the humanity, how you approach your tribe, let's just say your community, how you approach your community. I feel like it's a better way to put it. Last quarter moon, transition, letting go, forgiveness, adaptation. You got to forgive everyone, including yourself, and leave it in the past, because this blessing and abundance that it's in front of you and that wants you to receive it just doesn't have space for this fox and hare kind of energy. In retrograde, which is this deep time of internal reflection, understanding, and going within the self. So I'm going to ask spirit guides, spirit animals, are there any specific messages that Smoky Quartz needs to know? And already I'm getting make sure you have the right people around you. That's really, really important, really, really vital for this time for you in your life. Okay. Venus, that's cute. The 9th house, which is Sagittarius energy, which we already had. First quarter, which is making decisions. And Pluto, transformation. This is really a transformation, a rebirth, a renewal, and it can be obsession at its worst point. But think about it. The modern or the traditional ruler of Scorpio is Mars. The traditional ruler of Scorpio is Pluto. And Pluto is more about a power struggle, whereas Mars is more about the aggression of the Aries of I'm going to do what I want to do, or the Scorpio of the passion of something underneath it, using that as energy. Pluto energy is more of the deep down transformation, the working with our understanding and our deep-seated relationship with power, both conscious and unconscious. So I think that there was a lot of giving away of power as a child, and now you are already in this beautiful and strong place, and you are already somebody, but you're just going through these final stages of letting go of these moments and just transitioning with peace, which I think is a beautiful and lovely thing to do. And let's just ask the ancestors. Ancestors, are there any additional things that smoky quartz should pay attention to, especially this week or just in general. Clover, your luck. You are very lucky. You are a very, very lucky person. I mean, just the amount of energy, connectedness to the universe, it's all kind of flowing so freely with you. Ooh, it has the house. There's a lot of eyes on you. A lot of people know you or thinking about you, or you are just in their energy for some reason. And so keep that in mind. You have to be strong, or you have to make peace with your journey with yourself, because there's so many people who look up to you, and these opportunities are very much so fruitful and a harvest. Well, I hope you enjoyed this collective reading. Again, this is a collective reading, so your individual life and the individual things that you're able to do are your individual things. They're going to be unique and different. So use the comment section to tell me what's been going on, how it has connected with you. And you never know, sometimes you sharing your journey and your story can help someone else heal or find true power, true resilience, true understanding. So thank you for this first session with Array Tarot. Cannot wait until the next time. Bye, y'all.